And we are back under green at Toledo Speedway for the RC Cola 200 for the Hooters Cup Series. And right as we come back to air, we go back to caution on the Speedway. And we have got trouble in turn number 1. A car into the wall, looked like made pretty hard contact up there in the first turn. We're trying to zoom in and see who that is up there on the outside of turn 1. The car facing away from us, so we cannot identify who the driver is. And initial report is it is Steve Christensen in car number 12 in the B&G Oil Chevrolet Monte Carlo. There you see the 12, the B&G car for Steve Christensen. And a tough break for him as he has been one of the more consistent drivers on the Hooters Cup Trail this year with a lot of top 10 finishes and in the top 10 in the point standings.
Yeah, and he's a rookie. His first time ever really traveling around the United States. So some of these tracks are tough for him the first time. He just picked up this sponsor yesterday, raced for it last night, and this is his second time out. So it's tough to have a brand new sponsor and have something like this happen.
And this caution flag will turn out to be a break for Mike Garvey, who has gone into the pit area, and Mario Gosselin in the number 10 car. On the restart, Dennis Berry and Fred Campbell running 1-2. Got a good restart, and Dick Anderson, who is a lap down, restarted in that third spot. And Garvey and Gosselin, they had some problems getting by Anderson. They lost a lot of ground, but now the caution flag will bunch them up. But Garvey is in the pits. Mike Garvey, the Hooters Cup point leader, in the pits. Bobby Gill back in the pits. And Mark Bishardi, we're right at the halfway point. There's 97 laps in the book, so 3 laps to go until the halfway point. So, and as Joy Fair was saying, these guys might be making their stop a little bit early.
I don't think Dick Anderson and Bobby Gill had much choice. They have to get the car right. Mike Garvey, I think, is taking a chance. We'll have to wait till later in the race to find out whether it was a chance or whether it was a smart move to make.
And Garvey and Gill making it back out on the speedway along with Dick Anderson before the field came around with the pace car in front of them. There's your race leader, Dennis Berry, in car number 11. Joy Fair, what can you tell us about Dennis Berry?
Well, he's in the Iceman. He has been a threat. He isn't he doesn't rest much. He's just always aggressive. Just always aggressive. He's not one to allow someone to get near a lap down to save his tires. And he would, I think, would rather bank on a yellow at 20 laps to go and get new tires and run the whole race hard.
Do you know if any of these drivers will try to go the distance without a pit stop?
Oh, I'm sure some will, but not a winner for sure.
And Mike Garvey is back in the pits, and it looks like they're going to the left rear, Mark Bishardi.
Right, they put right sides on a while ago, now they're putting left sides on. So he's going to have 4 fresh shoes when he goes out.
So that'll be one thing to watch, like a brand new race car when they put 4 new tires on, Joy.
It's dramatic what 4 new tires do. Just unless you race, you can't comprehend it. You know, it's like the difference between running on wet pavement with a slick tire and on wet pavement with a brand new treaded tire.
And Dickie Anderson has made another stop on that race car, so that car is not handling the way he wants it to.
Field getting the halfway signal. The crossed flags from starter Tony Boswell. 100 laps in the books. We're under caution for a crash in turn 1 involving Steve Christen. And the initial report is Steve Christen is okay. And we'll try to get a report from the pit area on what happened to him. And there is Tony Boswell up in the flag stand. You see him there on the left of your screen. One of the most colorful starters in all of auto racing. He's been doing this a long time as a little kid, about knee-high to a grasshopper. He was at Auburndale Speedway waving the flags behind the flagman, and a lot of folks said that he was a lot better than that flagman up there.
At times it seemed like he was too short to even reach over the flag stand to wave the flags.
He's been flagging a long time, ever since he was a teenager. So Tony Boswell, the chief starter for the Hooters Cup Series, as he gives them the 1-to-go signal. We'll be going back to green. We are past the halfway mark. They'll come back to the stripe to complete lap 102 with Dennis Berry on the point. In car number 11, Fred Campbell running the 2nd spot, and Mario Gosselin, who did not pit, moves up to the 3rd spot, and 4th will be Dave Kuhlman in the 24 car.
We'll have to wait and see if Joy's prediction is going to come true, because he is a front runner right now.
That's right. A lot of the Hooters Cup drivers, the top runners, and we've got trouble on the front straightaway. Looks like David Elliott in the 27 car, the 21 car.
Green.
Mark Green, 21. The cars look identical. Mark Green in the 21 car, spinning down the front straightaway. And Joy, it looked like it just got away from him coming off the fourth turn on the restart.
Yes, it looks like it got behind in his steering.
This is a track you don't want to get behind on.
I like that statement. Joy, I'd like to ask you a question. As the race goes on, how does the sun coming from the west down the front straightaway have?
That thought went through my mind here. Normally it's night racing here, but we have raced here in daytimes, and in past years we were talking, it has gotten so bad that you used to take a pair of sunglasses with you. And I thought came to me earlier, I hope they thought about that.
Carry some in your pocket, huh?
Oh yes, and when they had a yellow, you'd put your sunglasses on, because it gets, you can see running down the straightaway, when it gets a little lower than it is now, it'll come right in your eyes.
The things you could learn from a veteran like Joy Fair.
Experience we had. I'll wait a chance here to tell you. You'll like the story.
Field getting the 1-to-go signal. Let's go down to the pit area for a quick report.
Well, we're down here with Steve Christian, the second rookie to bite the bullet here at Toledo Speedway. Steve, what happened out there?
Well, we were trying to pass a lap car, got on the outside of them and got into marbles and couldn't hang on to it, hit the wall and tore up the car pretty bad.
Rookies having a tough time here this afternoon at Toledo.
And we're back to green flag action. Top three cars pulled away from the field. Dennis Berry, car number 11, out in front. Fred Campbell running second. Mario Gosselin in third. And Mark Bishardi, it seems like Mario Gosselin is kind of playing monkey see, monkey do with the local drivers up here, the northern cars, and it looks like they're going to do exactly what Joy Fair said. They're going to wait till later in the race to pit as Bobby Gill comes back in for another pit stop. But it looks like that a lot of the Hooters Cup guys have made their stops early, and the Iceman Series drivers are waiting until later. As Joy Fair alluded to, they're probably going to wait until about the at least the three-quarter mark to make their pit stops. And Mario Gosselin is about the only Hooters Cup regular who has not come in yet.
Well, we've talked about it earlier in the season, talked about Mario Gosselin. You and I saw a young driver by the name of Joe Nemechek who would come to these tracks he'd never been to before. Mario's never been here. He learns from the guys that race here a lot. He gets behind them in practice, and he learns quick, as you can tell right now by the way he's driving this racetrack.
He's getting aggressive with Fred Campbell in his 70 car. Steps to the outside and goes on by as the caution flag comes out as the 116 car spins down the front straightaway. Gary McCoy, and that could have been a case, Joy Fair, of maybe his crew yelling the yellow flag on the radio as he slowed down. It looked like Gosselin had an easy time getting by him.
Yes, I think that'll be the problem.
Well, the way Hooters Cup racing goes, you go back to the last completed lap, so chances are he'll go back behind Fred Campbell.
Yes.
And that's exactly what he's doing now as he'll go behind Fred Campbell. And we've got a replay of the incident on the front straightaway involving Gary McCoy. Let's take a look at that and see what happened. There you see Gary McCoy with Larry Raines in the 37 car. And it looked like Raines and McCoy got together as they came off the fourth turn, and around he went.
It looked like McCoy might have drifted up in front of him a little more than Larry thought, because seeing Larry race over the years, he's not that type of driver that would maliciously take somebody out. So you could see it, but you couldn't see it.
And we've been seeing a lot of cars dive into the pit road under green, and it might have been that Gary McCoy might have been trying to slow down to get down into the pit area and just checked up a little bit too quick.
Yeah, well, I think we see some more cars lining up.
And here we see one of the leaders in, Fred Campbell in car number 70. He's taking on right side tires and a can of fuel. And we are going to go down to the pit area and take a look and see what's happening.
Well, they're dumping the fuel in the Randy Hostler Pontiac of Fred Campbell. He's off and away. This could be a cue for Dennis Berry to make his move and come into the pits, because when we talked to Mike Garvey, Mario Gosselin, Fred Campbell, and the crew of Dennis Berry, they said we're going to wait to see what the leaders do. And now 2 of the 4 leaders have come in and changed tires and added some fuel.
And we are under caution. That'll move Mario Gosselin up into second spot. And it would be interesting to find out if we could get maybe two of our pit reporters down, maybe one in Dennis Berry's pit and maybe one in Mario Gosselin's pit, and maybe kind of compare notes on the strategy that they're looking at as to when they're planning on coming in. As we've got Out in front, we've got the 11 car of Dennis Berry, and we've got Mario Gosselin now in the second spot. Joy Fair, do you think that perhaps Fred Campbell, do you think he's come in too early, because we're at lap 112 right now?
No, he can literally run the rest if he has fresh tires, and he can run the rest of the race without stopping should it end up that he needs to do that.
So you think he made the right move then pitting when he did?
Yes, then if there's a yellow late enough and he can get fresh tires, then he'll be all set, or if he can't, he can literally run to the end of the race this way.
So he went for track position as much as anything right now.
Right.
So Fred Campbell will go. He's at the very tail end of the field as we get set to go back to green. Dennis Berry brings them off the fourth turn. The lead lap cars to the outside, the lap cars to the inside. Mario Gosselin follows in behind Berry as they shoot down the back straightaway in the second spot. And I believe that the 24 car, Dave Kuhlman, is up there running in the third spot, but he's got about 3 lap cars between himself and the second place car of Mario Gosselin.
And they're pretty quick lap cars right now. We were looking at Dennis Berry and Mario Gosselin leading this race, and in the point battle that we're in, you kind of wonder right now, is Mario going to let Dennis Berry pit without him to get the extra points for leading the lap, or is he going to pit with him and try to go for the win?
It's going to be interesting, especially if they should come into the pits together to see who comes out first, and maybe that's what they're waiting for, one or the other to play their card. And there you see a picture of Mario Gosselin on your screen driving the Budweiser Young Oil Chevrolet Monte Carlo, originally out of Quebec City, Canada, moved to Fort Lauderdale, Florida a few years ago, and he had his shop blown completely to the ground by Hurricane Andrew, and then he relocated to Lake Wales, Florida, in Central Florida.
Right. Mario's come a long way since we first saw him. Even though he showed a lot of talent early, he's honed that aggressive style that he had early. He's patient. He runs a good, smart race. He's going to be an up-and-comer.
Here's Mike Garvey trying to work his way up through the field, stay on that lead lap. As he pitted earlier, he was running up in the third spot, gave up the track position to come in for 2 right side tires and a can of fuel, and then came back in a lap later and took on a left rear tire. So I believe Garvey does have 3 fresh tires on the 91 car, but it doesn't look like he's moving up through the field as quickly as he can, as several cars get bunched up at the tail end of the field. The caution flag is coming out, and one of those cars was the 70 car, Fred Campbell.
Well, Fred had to get on the binders pretty quick. It was either the 21 or the 27. It's hard to tell from up here which one's which. One of them got down in the grass and came back up on the racetrack, and Fred had to get on the brakes real hard to keep from getting into that driver.